6th lesson, and tonight we're going to talk about creating smoke-free communities. So we're halfway through. So just a couple of housekeeping rules for those of you who are watching us on the live screen. First of all, make sure you're reading your text messages and your emails. Make sure I'm going to get you. So make sure you're reading your text messages and your emails. For now, Weight Watchers has decided to do their meetings virtual, so they won't be here at Calvary for at least the next 2 weeks. So they will then let you know, those of you who've signed up for Weight Watchers, they will then let you know, or I will let you know how to sign up for the Zoom classes or however they're going to do it virtually. So just know that we're not going to have any in-person classes here at Calvary, of course, because of the coronavirus. And also the American Heart Association has suspended the classes the next 2 weeks. So we're not going to have the American Heart Association classes. So I'll keep you guys abreast, but you have got to check your emails. Check your emails. I'll let you know what's going on. So next week and the week after, we're going to take a week off. For all of you who have not gotten a chance to go through the PowerPoints, they're all uploaded in the Facebook group for our Calvary special Facebook group. So all of the PowerPoints are uploaded. And I'm going to just start us off, and then I have a special guest that's going to continue this amazing session. So creating a smoke-free community. So Tyson, if you can get it. Oh, you have the PowerPoint. Thank you. Titania's going to join us in a few seconds. Okay, so what is the Empowered to Serve? Again, the Empowered to Serve is a program sponsored through the American Heart Association that's designed for you and me to just tell somebody else about being healthy. So we want to just make sure that we're just educating the community on and our family and friends on eating healthy. Empowered to Serve is a movement inspiring those who are passionate, again, about driving change through health justice. This program is to gather facts about the effects of tobacco use. How many of you guys have smoked tobacco in the past? All right, we're going to talk about that tonight. Be an advocate for smoke-free communities, and join You Are the Cure and make yourself heard. Smoke-free workplaces and public places improve the health of communities. Reducing tobacco use and exposure to secondhand smoke improves heart health. People have fewer heart attacks after smoke-free air laws go into effect. Like traditional cigarettes, e-cigarettes should be subject to smoke-free air laws. So a lot of people thinking that to chew that tobacco and then the e-cigarettes, that it's going to help. But we're telling you, we want you to kind of let it all go. Secondhand smoke causes real problems. Now, I didn't know that. That was something I had no clue about secondhand smoke. It causes heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, and other illnesses in non-smoking adults. It contributes to about 41,000 deaths among non-smoking adults and 400 deaths in infants each year. That's a lot of, wow. It increases children's risk for many conditions. Annual cost of tobacco use. Now, this was so funny. Back when I was young, my dad used to send me to the store to get a pack of cigarettes. It was like 25 cents or something. And I'm hearing now it's like, what is it, $15 a pack? Add all that up. Man, I know, right? Wow, and he was like, I'm gonna stop smoking when it become $1. Right. $170 billion per year in healthcare expenditures associated with tobacco use. $150 billion per year in lost productivity associated with tobacco use. You got to go out there and have your cigarette smoke. I'm from Cleveland, and Cleveland Clinic bought up a whole lot of land there, so they won't even allow you to smoke on their property. You can't even smoke on the property, not in your car or anywhere. You have to go off the property. Gather the facts. Evidence shows that smoke-free laws, which should include e-cigarettes, significantly improve public health. And this is where you guys come in. You got to make your voices known. You have to speak out. You have to let the lawmakers know what you want. They didn't significantly affect a business sales. Sales often increase, in fact, once a business is smoke-free. So a lot of times we don't like going in behind, like with hotels and stuff, when you're going in behind someone who smoke or you're going into a room that smoke, it's just uncomfortable. The tobacco end game. Only about 14% of people in America smoke. The goal is to drive that rate down to below 5%. But e-cigarettes pose a significant threat to this goal. Let's support what's already working. Public education campaigns, which is what we're doing now, youth prevention programs, clean indoor air laws, that means because Calvary is a smoke-free environment, raising the tobacco sales age to 21. It's amazing. You can go off to fight in a war, but you can't buy cigarettes. Addicting a new generation. 1 in 4 high school age kids now report using e-cigarettes or vaping. They're the most popular tobacco product among adolescents. Many adolescents think vaping is safe. It's not, and it can deliver higher concentrations of addictive nicotine than traditional cigarettes. I have this funny story for you. I was waiting to go home. This middle school girl came up to me and was like, "Can you go in there and buy us a joint? Go in there and buy us a blunt." Yeah, she was, and then I was like, okay, I took out my earphones. I'm like, excuse me? And she was like, can you go in there and buy us a blunt? Because you right there in La Brea and Manchester, I forgot you could just go in there, like literally go into the store and buy blunts. And I'm like, no. And then she looked at me. So I knew that it was normal. She went and got another dude. Went there and got her and her friends a blunt. So I knew she was so comfortable to ask me that, a complete stranger to go and buy her a blunt, and then gave me the look like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I gave it a look back. I said, Lord, okay, Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost. Now I had to calm myself down because she really looked at me like she was like ready to step to me, like, real, like, no. I mean, literally, she stood, she like, y'all street, when you back up on that one leg and you kind of, yeah. I was like, really, little girl? But yeah, over a blunt. Over a blunt. That's what the kind of country we living in now. Oh, that's what it is? She said she told me to go and buy a blunt. Is that what it is? It was a regular store. Oh, see? Hey, I didn't know that. I thought it was like the little things that you roll up in the paper. Don't they sell them like that? See, I don't be knowing. I thought they just sold. Okay, we on live stream, live educating Zondra on blunt users. Okay, right now, after this, I'm gonna bring up Titania Davis. Adolescents clearly prefer flavored e-cigarettes. See, I didn't even know e-cigarettes. The American Heart Association advocates for laws that remove all flavored tobacco products from the market. About 95% of adult smokers began smoking before they were 21. If they don't start by 26, they're unlikely to ever start. And this particular program, of course, is very passionate to me because my mom was a cigarette smoker, and that's what took her life. And so now I'm trying to get my dad to stop smoking. He did stop smoking marijuana. So now it's like, okay, Dad, he gave up the motorcycle, or actually took the motorcycle from him. So just, so just keep my dad in prayer. But I love the testimonies to that with prayer, because people have stopped smoking. I have aunts that stopped, and family members have stopped smoking. So this campaign is important to me because it's so important to save our lives. So right now, I want to bring up our Titania Davis from the Green Foundation. She's a project coordinator, so she's going to continue this PowerPoint and her own information from her group. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So, I'm Titania Davis. I'm the project coordinator for the Green Foundation. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Green Foundation. And we have a project called COES, which stands for Keeping Our Lungs Safe. Oh, wow. So is it this way? Oh, okay. So the vision of the Green Foundation is a community health education with emphasis on prevention, screening, and lifestyle choices. So our program is a community health advocacy and a community-based learning opportunity for young adults 18 and over. We have conference planning, community organizing, attend educational conferences, workshops, video conferencing, experiential learning through task assignments, interacting with health professionals, mentoring, and coaching. And so the Green Foundation monitors students' progress by showing outstanding commitment to the following through with service learning methods. So it's just saying we work with a lot of university students, and we also work with the community and faith-based organizations to provide workshops, to also provide conferences, so that we're continuously educating and getting the information out into the community on how to help ourselves be better. Yeah. So I'll just get through that. So this is the COES, Keeping Our Lungs Safe. It's a joint collaboration funded by California Department of Public Health, working together to eliminate health disparities related to tobacco and tobacco smoke in Los Angeles. The Green Foundation's jurisdictions are Hawthorne and Palmdale. Los Angeles Codes, empowering young adults through health education and advocacy regarding the dangers of tobacco and tobacco smoke, bridging the equity gaps and effects of tobacco use to reduce the number of tobacco-related diseases and deaths in African American communities. Our collaborative partners engage in activities to facilitate small groups of 5 or more, workshop conference presentations, and ministry groups. And here's our information. We work with faith-based organizations, as I said, tobacco collaborations, community coalitions, organizing. This is my email and information. So if you want to get involved, you can contact the Green Foundation either via email or you can give us a call. And I think I brought some cards as well. So if you're interested in becoming a CAP member, we implement healthy changes in the community, help design and implement young adult-specific programming activities, and inform and educate community members and decision makers about tobacco-related disparities. We meet twice a month, attend and participate in local sponsored training events, such as leadership trainings. It's one of the things that I was involved with last year. And then we help and plan and participate in local tobacco-related activities and campaigns, communicate regularly with staff and other CAB members through email, phone, or internet. So as I said, you gain leadership and advocacy development, public speaking, skill building opportunities, in-depth knowledge about current tobacco issues, experience that added value to resumes and college applications. Definitely gain public speaking. My director, Ernesta Wright, she just loves to throw you right in there. I didn't expect to be doing this class tonight, and this is actually my first time doing this class, but I've been with the Green Foundation, thank you, since last year, well, since September, and yeah, she does a great job of saying, oh yeah, just go ahead. And I'm like, okay. I prefer to do the work and not the talk, but okay. So engage in advocacy. Here's a picture of me and then the president. This was here at Calvary when we came in the health event that you guys had. And then the other picture is some students at LMU. These are students of LMU. So I care about my lungs. And then volunteer opportunities with other stakeholders. Healthy Stores for Healthy Community campaigns. So these are some different campaigns that we have going on. Flavored tobacco, vaping education, and civic engagement. Vaping is the big thing now. Vaping it's like we got the tobacco use down and now we're fighting against the vaping industry with the flavored vaping. And then the audience that they're targeting, the young junior high school students and probably even younger. These kids, of course, every year they start younger and younger doing things that we didn't do at that age. And so I know vaping is a big thing in the high schools and the junior highs right now, and they're marketing them through flavored vaping, such as Skittles and Snickers and just things that, Sour Patches, the things that are appealing to the kids. And then also maybe they feel like, it doesn't really smell, and so they don't really associate it with smoking cigarettes. They're like, oh no, I wouldn't smoke a cigarette, but it's like, yeah, you're kind of doing the same thing. And so even in the PowerPoint that Zondra was showing earlier, it shows that one pod equals a whole pack of cigarettes. And so they're smoking a whole pack in just a little pod, and it's causing the same type of health risk, and even at a younger age. So our fight, we're really in the fight for vaping and trying to get the young people educated. And also, Ernesta's really at in Sacramento to fight against the ban in the communities for smoke-free communities for those reasons as well, so that we can stop targeting, these younger audiences. What happened? Oh. So tobacco facts. Tobacco use imposes enormous public health and financial costs on this nation, costs that are completely avoidable. Until we end tobacco use, more young people will become addicted, more people will become sick, and more families will be devastated by the loss of loved ones. Did it skip? Okay, important addition. Two, our base knowledge on the prevalence, causes, effects, implications of tobacco use by young people. It alludes, makes clear and powerful detailed factors that lead youth and young adults to initiate tobacco use, and the devastating health and economic impact of the decision on our nation, as well as on individuals, their families, and their communities. So the public health concerns are the flavors, such as mango, mint, fruit, melody, and that the vaping cigarettes, also known as Juuls, are highly addictive. So vaping is a harmful chemical. It lowers learning levels and brain development, can cause burns of fires because those little vaping pods, they blow up, apparently. Yeah. And it's exposure to secondhand smoke, harmful to the lungs. So if you hang around people that vape, it's just gonna get in your lungs just like tobacco would as well. So advocacy is the way to take action. Youth Quest is a young adult group that we have that goes to Sacramento to stand together and advocate for tobacco legislations to be changed and policies to be implemented. And then here's some pictures of Sacramento students. Oh, sorry. So nearly 90% of all American smokers use menthol cigarettes, and 47,000 African Americans die from smoking-related diseases each year. And so we know that tobacco has targeted the African American communities more than heart diseases, lung cancers, and breast cancers and things like that. We lose a lot of family members to tobacco use. So I have a little documentary to show you. It's Black Lives, Black Lungs. It's a documentary that explores the history, marketing tactics, and impacts of the tobacco industry. I don't really know it by heart. Basically, this video is saying that they target our people in marketing when they're marketing the products for tobacco use. And so I'll let you watch this. Go for it.
3 years ago, I accepted an internship with Truth Initiative. At the time, I thought I knew everything I needed to know about tobacco. Yes, it could be deadly, but my generation could be addressing it in much larger numbers. But what I knew was just the beginning. Today, tobacco-related diseases are still the #1 cause of death in the African American community, and that's not a coincidence. During my time with Truth Initiative, I read dozens of research articles and stacks of internal documents directly from tobacco industry files. I learned that the tobacco industry strategically and successfully infiltrated my community. And while it's true that they targeted many groups, the targeting of the black community has been uniquely damaging.
Critics charge that the tobacco companies view black smokers as a growing source of income. In fact, they say, blacks are the target of carefully plotted and highly specific marketing campaigns.
For decades, the tobacco companies have used predatory practices aimed to push their deadly product onto the black community. Practices that contribute to the approximately 45,000 black people who will die every year from tobacco-related diseases. This film, Black Lives, Black Lungs, is part of my effort to turn my anger into action. I've set out to give voice to some of the experts and activists who've spent their lives taking on the tobacco industry. Because understanding the history of this 50-year plus campaign is critical for taking back the health of our community.
In high school, I became involved with tobacco control because my uncle passed away from tobacco-related diseases, and I remember him telling me when I was younger that when he first started, it was because the industry told him it would cure his asthma. And if you were to hear that statement today, you would think that's the most ludicrous thing you've ever heard. And I just felt like it was so unfair for an industry to be able to target someone like my uncle and have him die as a result. If he had known the real health effects from the get-go, he would have never picked it up. I lost my uncle to an industry who does not care about him, who does not care about the black body. And I feel I have a responsibility to speak out against it.
Addiction is about brain chemistry, and it's about access. It's not about personal weakness. It's not about poor black people just are going to do something anyway. It's about that you give this entity access to the brains of your children, of your people, and they become addicted.
There's nothing inherently black about menthol cigarettes. They were invented in 1925 by Lloyd Spud Hughes. Spud created his own brand, Spud brand, which were the first widely sold menthol cigarettes in the United States. In 1932, Brown & Williamson Tobacco launched its own menthol brand, Cool. And in 1956, industry behemoth R.J. Reynolds introduced Salem, the first menthol cigarette with a filter tip. R.J. Reynolds marketed Salem as fresher, cool, and refreshing. Of course, all without any scientific proof.
Salem's special paper breathes in fresh air with every puff.
The death rates for African Americans who smoke hover around 49,000 per year. It's no accident that African Americans smoke more menthol cigarettes.
One of the greatest marketing coups that took place in the 20th century is transforming menthol cigarettes into the black cigarette. The African Americanization of menthol cigarettes in the United States starts with finding a specialty product for African Americans following World War II. Many African Americans had moved to the north. There were specialty products being developed for them, certain hair creams, certain foodstuffs, and the tobacco industry, particularly some of them, began to realize we could market a particular brand to this group of people. Brown & Williamson conducted a number of focus groups in the late 50s and early 60s that identified that African Americans were more receptive to TV commercials, more receptive to the messages that are provided there. Brown & Williamson then took 90% of their budget and put it into television advertising because they knew African Americans would disproportionately look at that. They began to use black images on television and in their ads. In 1953, 5% of African Americans used menthol products compared to 3% for whites. By 1968, that had tripled to 14%. By 1976, it had tripled again to over 42%. Into the 2000s, we're above 80%. That's the African Americanization of menthol cigarettes in the United States. Is the targeted marketing over half a century toward black folks.
Let's dig in a little bit deeper and talk about how African Americans are disproportionately burdened by death and disease from tobacco, cigars, and cigarillos. When it comes to understanding it as a public health issue, I didn't know about that, or a social justice issue in particular, until I started working with TRDRP and Truth Initiative. I didn't understand that the industry had been targeting my community.
In the middle of Jim Crow, there's a civil rights battle going on, and the tobacco industry is way past that. They've got Elston Howard, catcher from the New York Yankees, black man selling cool cigarettes. They have executives in their offices in North Carolina that they're, promoting while black folks can't even get a job or sit at a lunch counter. So they're way ahead of the curve.
In 1971, the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act banned the advertising of cigarettes on TV and radio.
The tobacco industry was one of the first industries to recognize not all marketing needs to go toward white males. So it was good to see black people in the ads and to see that there were black models and that it wasn't all drugs and gangs. And so it was hard, people saw that and they were very much attracted to that.
For decades, the tobacco industry has infiltrated the black community, infiltrated black institutions. In return, what the black community got was death and disease.
We know the facts. We have the scientific knowledge that tells us that we die in larger numbers. If people stopped smoking, if people resisted using these products, it's a preventable disease. We wouldn't have to die in such large numbers. Why do some things still happen in society that we know are wrong? It's all tied to money. Why is the tobacco industry able to sell a product that will definitely, undoubtedly kill you? Because there's money tied to it. And money makes things happen.
I found myself very touched and even upset over what I was seeing because I saw lists of organizations that included organizations that I grew up in, organizations that I was currently a member of, and I had no idea that behind the scenes there were negotiations between the leaders of these organizations and tobacco companies where they were accepting money and sponsorships.
So in the summer of 1984, I was in my preventive medicine medicine residency at Johns Hopkins, I was doing internships around the country. And so one of the organizations I did an internship was with the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. While I was there, I was very concerned about the relationship between the CBCF and the tobacco industry. So I started talking to other interns who were there, and then also my supervisors, to sort of see, what can be done. Is it possible to do something from the inside? Because I knew that the effect that it was having on African Americans in general. And so what they suggested was that I write a memo to the executive director. So the memorandum reads, I am very much disturbed by the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's policy of promoting cigarette smoking. I am especially disturbed at the free distribution of cigarettes at CBCF functions. I am requesting that you raise these issues at the CBCF Policy Board in the hope that we will adopt a policy more in line with our interest in the well-being of Black Americans. And that's how it begins.
Unfortunately, somewhere in the neighborhood of 90% of all African American civil, religious, political, social organizations take money from the tobacco industry. That's just because we ain't got no money. They're buying the silence of these people. The Congressional Black Caucus is a multi-million-dollar foundation, and last time I looked, at least half of their members take money from the tobacco industry. Now, not all of them do, and we tried to work, of course, with the ones that don't, like Karen Bass from Los Angeles and Barbara Lee from up here, Alma Adams in North Carolina. But it's a hard sell, and it's still a hard push to get groups to speak up against the tobacco industry.
The tobacco industry has a very interesting and highly complex relationship with African Americans. Yes, the tobacco industry was the first, or among the first industries to give African Americans high-level executive jobs. They fund several Black scholarships, including the Thurgood Marshall Fund. They funded major civil rights organizations, including the NAACP, the National Urban League, the Congress of Racial Equality, and much more. They did give people in the entertainment industry their first leg up. But you can give me everything in the world, but at the end of the day, what is this industry doing? 47,000 African Americans a year die as a result of tobacco-related diseases. That is the leading cause of death in the African American community. There's not enough shiny trinkets in the world that you can give me in exchange for my life. There's not enough shiny trinkets in the world that you can give me in exchange for my brother's life, for my sister's life. It doesn't matter how much money you pump into the community. We are worth so much more. In my experience, people have been shocked to learn that, they fund so much, that their dollars reach so far. But I think that needs to be known.
I'm sitting at my desk one day in 1998 when the Surgeon General's report comes out, first report on racial and ethnic minorities and smoking, and it just kind of slapped me in the face that African Americans were dying disproportionately of tobacco-related diseases across the board.
I was actually one of the first to start looking at what the industry had written in their own words about their plans to market their products to African American communities, and looking at their relationship building with African American organizations and organizations that I was currently a member of, and I had no idea that behind the scenes there were negotiations between the leaders of these organizations and tobacco companies where they were accepting money and sponsorships. Tobacco-related diseases was really, I saw a main cause for the health disparities that were affecting my community. I couldn't turn my back on this. I just couldn't. One of my colleagues actually saw me crying at my desk at UC San Francisco because I was just so upset over what I was seeing, and she asked a question. I wonder if others in your community would have this kind of reaction to these documents. We then got funding to do another project where we took the documents to groups of African American smokers and young people, elderly people in the community, to find out if they would have a similar reaction. And it was very clear that this was information information that they didn't have, that they wanted it, that they wish that they had had prior to them picking up a cigarette?
I work with a group, the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council. Our tagline is Saving Black Lives, and that at bottom it is a social justice question. You might look at it this way: when you have the tobacco industry targeting of African Americans, disproportionately advertising in our communities, giving away free samples, menthol products are less expensive in the African American community. It's a classic definition of a social justice issue where there is a major player taking advantage of a lesser person. Now, there has been some changes. The National NAACP passed a resolution at their July convention saying that chapters could support local and state resolutions to curb or regulate menthol. This is a major breakthrough.
You know, the legislation I'm signing today represents change that's been decades in the making. Today, thanks to the work of Democrats and Republicans, healthcare and consumer advocates, the decades-long effort to protect our children from the harmful effects of tobacco has emerged victorious. Today, change has come.
It's always been an uphill battle. Look at the black folks who fought to set up the Underground Railroad. Look at the black folks who fought Jim Crow. If we're going to fight this, then you're in it for the long haul.
Our community is under great stress, so we need healthier lifestyles, but we don't need people dumping this poison in our neighborhoods.
If you know someone who smokes, who's black, they probably smoke menthol cigarettes. Tell their story.
I think when it comes to just living as an African American, understanding that just because of who we are, our lives are constantly at threat, whether it is racial injustice, police brutality, being denied access to things. All of these issues are layered and connected.
I made a decision at 18 that I was going to fight back, and I'm 67. I continue that fight.
Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe. I think we're all answering the same question. What is the worth of a black body in the United States of America?
So in the video, they mentioned that they were still in the fight to ban the sale of tobacco, of menthol products. And I got an email on March 10th that says the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council wholeheartedly congratulates Chairperson Karen Bass and the majority of the Congressional Black Caucus for standing up to big tobacco, leading the fight to pass H.R. 2339, which prohibits the sale of flavored e-cigarettes and menthol cigarettes. So our fight and our efforts are moving forward. Then we can just have one more slide. So, I have the clip. The next one, right here. So ways to get involved. Here's some of the things that we do with the Green Foundation is that we go to city council meetings. We do tabling at colleges and universities where we do data collection. And we also do surveys and opinion surveys on how you feel about tobacco in your community. We do national and local events, also campaigns. We're at farmers markets. We like to get involved with faith-based organizations and info booths at faith-based and community-based organizations. And so, the next slide. Oh yeah. So if you're interested in becoming a local community health advocate, you can reach us at thegreenfoundation.net. The next slide, the last one. One more slide.
Wow. Thank you, Titania. That was amazing. Give it up for Ms. Davis from the Green Foundation. And again, the slide from the American Heart Association is in the group. If you guys have any questions for us? Any questions at all? This is some powerful information.
All right. When I smoke, past
Mm-hmm.
Because every other cigarette just seems so nasty. I don't
Yeah.
know
Mm.
who would
Yeah.
want to smoke something other than menthol.
See?
But you're telling me menthol was created for black folks?
Mm-hmm. Targeted our community, yeah. And it's interesting when you look back. I'm looking at like all the concert venues, everything's sponsored by Cools, because that's what my dad smoked, was the Cools and Newports. That's all, Cool and Newport, Cool and Newport. Yep. You may get the Lucky Strikes. That was my neighbor used to smoke those. Oh, the Lucky Strikes were? Oh.
Joe been in the pen, he smoked Camel.
You been in the pen? Okay, okay.
What a none.
That's all right. That's all right. It's great information. Wow, but this is some great information. So thank you guys for coming out. Again, 2 weeks, we're going to have off. You have something else you want to? Oh, okay. Okay, well, I was going to wrap up, so come up. I was going to end it, so I'm
Well, the Green Foundation loves to give away things, so I just have a few little gifts. We usually do a raffle, and then we just pull, but I have 3 gifts, so we'll just, Pastor, you'll be okay with not getting a gift. I'm going to give them to the ladies, so, thank you guys for coming out. You're welcome. You're welcome. And then one more. Yes, coming out in this wet rain. And then we also have one more gift for Sister Zondra. Yes. And so this, Ernesta wants me to let you know that this is an authentic African cloth from Ghana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we say thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
We love you too, Pastor.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. It made coming out here in the rain more enjoyable. Gosh, thank you. I'm so excited. Okay, so everybody, again, we're going to be off for 2 weeks, but catch up on all of the our presentations. We have 6 that's up now on our website. If you have any questions, you can inbox me. Again, Weight Watchers as well. They're going to do virtual classes beginning this Thursday. So your sponsors should get in contact with you. If not, they'll have me get in contact with you. Okay, guys, have a so we're clear.
When you say, and I think I'm correct on that, we're off for 2 weeks. That's what we know of now.
That's right.
It doesn't necessarily mean in 3 weeks we'll be back.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Everything we're playing it by ear.
It's like minute by minute, really. I may get an email tonight. That's a great point, Pastor. I'm glad you brought that up. As we know, our president announced today that it will be July or August before the coronavirus is peaked. So, we're thinking they're going to have mandatory quarantines and all of that stuff. So we don't really know. They're just saying for now 2 weeks. So we'll see. I may be back here by myself and you guys can do it, virtual. So we'll see how it goes. A more credible. So, we're going to go by the CDC. So go on the CDC's website or Mayor Garcetti. Okay. I know, right? Yeah. So go on the CDC's website or Mayor Garcetti. So hopefully we won't get like Spain, Italy, and unfortunately Italy lost like 400 people yesterday. 338 or something like that died in one day from the coronavirus. One day. So the cities, France, Spain, and Italy are all in lockdown mode. So, okay. So guys, stay safe. We love you. And until next time, we'll see you later. Okay, bye.